doing things that doing an extraordinary job.
Well, Mikey, there used to be a commercial. I can't remember. It was for something like the New York Urban League or something like that. And the tagline of the commercial had a little kid looking into the camera and saying, "I don't know you, but I love you." Well, that should be the Giants theme of the I don't know you, but I love you.
Don't know who you guys are. Don't know how you got to the major leagues. Don't know where you came from, but we love you so much.
We are loving on you. Well, good morning, Michael Knight. How are you?
Good morning, New York, Vinnie. I got up early California time. We got to be up at 6 to make that 7 o'clock show. I saw every bit of the second round of the select committee's testimony and interrogations and questionings and results and conclusions. And if I were Donald Trump, I'd just keep my big mouth shut. I know he can't, but if I were Trump, I would lay low, stay low, stand by, and stand down.
Yeah.
And don't say a word over there, Donnie, which is, I know that's in advance, it's impossible, but that's what a good lawyer would tell him to do. At this point in your career, Mr. President, it's best not to say anything.
Well, he doesn't seem to have any good lawyers. I mean, when you're relying on Rudy Giuliani to give you advice, it's clear that you don't know how to pick a lawyer.
Mostly, he's just going to tell you how to make a Manhattan.
Yeah, he'd have been better off. Trump would have been better off going in the phone book and getting Suts and Suts, or what's that other Jacoby and Myers? Just going on TV.
You know what? Jacoby and Myers likes to get paid. In fact, it's the basis of their business plan is that they must get paid for their legal work, and that's not the way they run things over at the Trump El Lago Del Mar Del Sol.
The Trump Del Taco, isn't it? I think, or something.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, the Trump Del Taco. Yeah, they don't run things at all like that. It's at best. Grab a piece of furniture on your way out for payment.
Yeah, take a chair. Take a nice gilded chair. Take it home to your wife. She's going to love it. Take a table.
Take Obama's portrait on the way out. You should be able to sell that for something.
We got a folding table that we have down by the door. And here's some stuff from Nancy Pelosi's office. Take that.
What I gleaned from today's proceedings, number one, is... you heard the words crazy, nuts, insane.
Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your freaking mind?
You heard that on election night, as early as election night, there were people in the Trump orbit that were looking at him and saying, this guy we better figure out a way to get out of here. Let's not stay for the pigs in blankets. Let's get out of here
now. We can go. Let's go to White Castle. Let's get out of here and have a better time. Here's the summation of the whole day for me, Vinnie. A knowingly false operation, not honest, not professional, detached from reality. And that, to me, summarizes the entire 4 years of Trump, or 5, or how ever since Trump came on the scene and stopped being a television personality and tried to make himself a dictator. Detached from reality. Then, and I would have to say, as of today, Vinnie, would you say he remains detached?
Oh yeah, I think he's more detached now than he ever was, because I think he truly believes in his mind, and it's a scary place right there. But I think he truly believes that he is not liable for anything that he did, as he has believed his entire life. I mean, it's not like you look at Trump and you say, boy, something must have snapped on him at some point. This is a guy through his whole entire life has never believed, A, that he's liable for anything he does, or B, should pay for anything he buys. I mean, if you're in a bar and Donald Trump walks in and you'll wait for him to buy a round,
no,
ain't gonna happen.
No.
He's waiting.
What do you think?
To buy him around. He's waiting for you to attach yourself to him because he believes that you can ride, because you believe that you can ride on the coattails of his fame.
There you got it. Vinnie. How do you think he turned this thing into a win for him? He knew he didn't win the election. He was told that so many times. Rudy Giuliani said, just go with it. Say you won. And then get a defense fund together to prove that you're fighting, so that you will always say that you got together that legal team and you fought in 60 cases and you raised $250 million and you kept it. So that's a win. So he knew all along. And the only people that didn't know are his supporters, are the suckers in Wenatchee and the suckers in Fresno that sent him $25. And there was enough of them that he raised $250 million to put in a defense fund that did not exist. Keep that in mind. Right. His defense fund did not exist. So he knew it was a joke, because if it had been a defense fund that he needed, it would have existed. No. That was just right into Donald's pocket. And he gave a couple million out to a few people and some more money to, here's one for you, here's $5 for me.
Yeah. And how
Trump deal.
Shovel this money out. Why do you think guys like McCarthy and those people are running to him and changing their minds? Not
he's the money.
They think he's right, because he controls now a large pot of money. And what do you need to get elected in this country? Money. So
in fact, if you want to be the mayor of LA is going for $40 million. So if you got $40 million, you can be the mayor of any major city. That's what we're seeing right now in America.
And these guys and women are whores. They're nothing but whores. They'll open up for anybody who comes along with money.
You bet they will.
And
with the promise of money.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even have to be money. You can do it. Listen, I always go back to one of the great lessons in politics you get if you watch the film Absence of Malice with Paul Newman and Sally Field from way back in the 80s. It's a textbook of how you manipulate the system with some cash and enough contact with reporters. You can manipulate the system. And Trump, if he has anything going for him, he's a master manipulator.
He gets people to just do they go into contortions to make him happy.
They'll sell their children to get a picture taken with him.
Yep.
To get an endorsement. And when you add that to the fact that we have a very weak-minded electorate out there.
Oh boy.
You have the perfect recipe for disaster, and that's exactly what we have on our hands, is a disaster.
And the committee has concluded that all the actions for the first time Trump ran, through his entire 4 years in office, through the re-election, through the fight of the Stop the Steal movement and the financing of it all and the insurrection, everything he was saying was false. But more than that, Vinnie, knowingly false. Now that's a crime.
Right.
Knowingly false.
Right.
It wasn't a professional operation. It was dishonest. It was a criminal, and it was knowingly false. He's not living in another world where Bill Barr says, how long is he going to go with this? Hey, he seems to be crazy. How long are we going to let him run with this thing? Oh, it's going to be okay. Jared Kushner says, we're working on it. We got this thing tied up. The president's going to come around. He'll come to his senses. Oh no. When he found out he could make $250 million by saying it wasn't that way, he said, why can't I make $500 million and live like this forever? I'll just be the emperor of Florida.
Well, if you've learned anything along the lines here from today's testimony and Thursday's testimony, is that he knew.
Yes.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
Anybody that thinks that that he truly believed that there was election fraud is a fool. It's just not. There were enough credible people telling him that you lost this thing. Stepien was telling his campaign manager is telling him. The only guys that probably aren't telling him are Giuliani, Bannon, and Manafort.
And what's the
General loved the Russians. What's his name?
Mike Flynn.
Mike Flynn. Those guys are probably telling him.
Sydney Sharp or whatever her name is. Sydney.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The lawyers. They're all well, I think they come in a little bit later, but I think around the election, they're telling them, well, look, you got a choice here. You're going to be out of office anyway. So you can either do something radical to stay in office, or you can ride it as long as you can, raise as much money as you can. And then, and your prospects here are maybe raising a couple of $100 million and then get out of Dodge.
Every day we'll come up with a different story about Dominion and who's involved and who's responsible. It's going to be the Italians. It's going to be the Israelis. It's going to be the Venezuelans. It's going to be the Mormons. It's going to be in Europe. It's going to be in the Philippines. Just try to keep up with this. We're going to change the story every single day. And we're even going to forget that Hugo Chavez is dead and we're going to blame him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if dead people can vote, we can blame stuff on dead people. It's a very fair exchange.
Dead people are known to be very active for years after their actual death. And that's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask Mayor Daley. He'll tell you.
Ask Harry Houdini. He's still pulling off tricks in Baltimore. He's famous
still doing things in Baltimore long after he's out of Baltimore. It is an entire pyramid built on the stupidity of the American public.
And how many of us went there, Vinnie? How many Americans got right in line and marched off the cliff like lemmings? How many of us?
It amazes me to this day. And if you look at my Facebook page, you see some of the things that I've posted, and then how the arguments and how the posts under them, the comments, devolve into, there are people that go on my Facebook page, and there are friends of mine too, not just people from Facebook. I say, okay, I have a public figure Facebook thing, and people go to it and they're nuts. But people that I know, people that I think are smart people, who have been totally sucked in to this cult. And really, to me, it's nothing more than a cult.
And now you know cult members.
And what we're seeing here, I think, is we're seeing Jim Jones exposed before he could get to the Kool-Aid.
But he was going there. He was on his way.
But he was going for the Kool-Aid. Make no mistake about it. Trump probably cornered the market on orange Kool-Aid.
I like orange Kool-Aid.
I do too.
Tasty. Yeah,
I like orange Jello too a lot. But this is what you have. You have a cult, and he would do anything. He would use this cult to do whatever he needed to do. And he also believes, and this is when you know that somebody is mentally unstable, he believes that all he had to do is pick up a phone and people would go along with him.
Yep.
Now, he calls up the VFW in Bullprick, Georgia, and says, I need you guys to go out and, get your pickup trucks and run some Biden buses off the road.
Is that Bullprick, Georgia?
Yeah, Bullprick.
That's a nice little town.
Yeah, very long. They'll go out and do it.
Yeah.
But when you start to get to the educated people, when you start to get to the people that have been around the block a few times, when you start to get to the people who actually took their jobs and got voted into their jobs because they were public servants.
Like Mehmet Oz.
You get people who now start to question. You get people.
Vinnie, how many? I don't know how many.
Wait a second. What's in this for me?
Yeah.
And there are many people who, when they say what's in it for me is not enough to change their honesty. Everybody has a price. I believe that. There's everybody, I think, has a price.
What we saw today was that the lawyers around Trump, the advisors around Trump, the campaign advisors around Trump, the family around Trump, everybody of any consequence around Trump, everyone, including all the cabinet members and especially the attorney general, told him it was bullshit, told him it was nonsense, told him he was wasting his time. Rudy Giuliani was like the guy around, and the average American that voted for Trump said, yeah, I'm with you on this. Here's $25. it was, and then they'll have all the facts at their hands. Yes, it was Dominion, and it was done by the Venezuelans, who stored it with the Israelis, who gave it to the Italians, who destroyed it with the Filipinos, who brought it to the Germans, who brought over the suitcase full of votes.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you believe that?
Do I believe that they believe it?
No. Do you believe that all of these people were telling him at the time?
Oh, yes, inside, yes.
Was over.
And to each other, but they would never say it in public, and they would never say it against him.
I don't know if I believe all of these people. To be honest with you, I don't know that all of these people who are now standing up and saying, "Gee, we were, we want to invoke the 25th Amendment. We're going to do this and that." We're telling them no.
We told him.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold yet on the idea that all of these people were running around saying, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? Godzilla's in the other room and he's about to break out." We told him he's just a lizard, but no, he wants to be Godzilla.
You're just a lizard, my friend.
So
one thing about Mark Meadows and the people around him at that level, Mark, the Speaker of the House from California, what the hell's his name? McCarthy, is that they changed their tune. At the day of the insurrection, they have one song. Later on, they sing another one. The day of the election, they have one song. Later on, they change it to the "We was robbed" song, and they'll sing it. And their problem is, I can't quite remember, what song am I going to sing today? Am I singing this one where I'm with him? Am I singing this one when I'm against him? I think I'll just sing this one where I'm with him, because it's going to turn out that way anyhow. I'm going to have to change my mind. I might as well change it today. Never said that. I never said that, and I didn't change my mind.
See, maybe it's the cynical New Yorker in me or something, but I just am not sold on the fact right now. Now, maybe, again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that all these people were either afraid to go in and tell them anything, or were afraid, but I think there's a lot of covering their asses right now. A lot of people running for cover because they know that there are indictments coming, that there are, that this really is
a legal price to be paid.
Criminal conspiracy.
Yes.
At the least, and it'll be great to see. One of the things that I will enjoy seeing so much is Rudy Giuliani indicted under the RICO Act.
By his own.
It's the guy who helped write the thing.
It's like when
he's going to get put in jail because of it.
When he left that office, he said, "I'm going to go be mayor for a while, but hold on to this paperwork that I left behind. That's how you'll get me in the end."
Well, that's how they got, people forget that RICO Act before 1975 or 6 or 7, whatever it was, didn't exist. That right. He, as the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, was one of the people instrumental in writing an act that said that you didn't have to actually commit the crime. All you had to do was conspire to think about committing the crime. Perfect Catholic ruling.
Be aware of the structure of the problem.
Right.
You were there. You talked it over.
The conspiracy is all you need to. You only got to think about the sin.
Right.
You don't have to do it. It helps if you do it. But if we can prove that there's a conspiracy, then we can not only arrest you, but arrest all of the people around you.
Plus, the fact is, the crime was committed. You knew it was going to happen. You were part of the planning, and now you're going down with a bunch of them.
Right. So if you go out to shoot Joe Blow, and you miss, just the fact that you go out to shoot Joe Blow, and you ordered him to shoot him, and you ordered him to drive the car, and you stop the traffic on the other block so nobody else would get killed, you're all part of it.
Exactly. But all I did was collect bets. Yeah, but you're part of a criminal enterprise. You belong to a group, and that group commits crimes. And you commit your crime, they commit theirs, but they committed murder, and you're going down for it.
And if nothing else, from what I see and what I've read, and again, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I don't pretend to be when I'm just an idiot that talks on the radio or Facebook or whatever. This is textbook RICO stuff. I mean, really, if you look at this, Mikey, this is the mafia. This is the stuff that the mafia was doing in 1970 transported to non-Italians with higher suits and cleaner offices.
They call them mouthpieces.
Nicer suits, I should say, not higher suits, nicer suits and cleaner offices. And there's a lot of McDonald's going around than there is Brajol.
I like a shark skin suit every once in a while. I think I look pretty tight. I think I look good.
That's what you got here.
Yeah.
This is textbook mafia stuff. You go
Criminal
back
enterprise.
and look at the history of the mafia, and you have your captains and your generals and your capo di tutti capi. You got all of these this organization,
and you go through the ranks just like you do in the army.
On people, and you get them to fork over protection. You don't think that? Let's go back to impeachment 1. You don't think that he was strong-arming Zelensky?
Sure he was. And every vote in the Senate as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's textbook. Go back and read any mafia book and you'll just see the same thing. Just put the Trump names in there instead of the Italian names, and you got it's the same thing.
You probably remember the testimony today when the lawyers that were going over the results of the election, they had a list of 40 things that may have happened, that allegedly had happened. And they're going through it and telling them, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen that way. There's no evidence of that. We looked into that. And he never, ever argued with them. He would just say, well, what about the next one? What about that thing and thing? What about that thing? No, that didn't happen. We're okay. So what about this one? What about that thing in Georgia? That must have happened. There's no evidence of that, sir. We'll check into that again. And what about the other ones? What about some other stuff that I'm going to make up tomorrow? What about that? In fact, I will make it up today if you want. If you need it today, I'll make up something. And I'll have a press conference, and I'll relay these known lies to the American people with the hopes of raising another $250 million. That's something I can do. I can't get out of this mess. I can't win the election, but I can raise some money and I can make people doubt.
Well, at any cost. You see, there's the thing too that we haven't gotten to yet in the hearings. We know it is that he would do this, would rip apart our country.
Yes, hopefully.
Would pit us against each other. Would vilify anybody he needed to maintain his position.
Without a glance back, without a glance, just do it without any idea about the consequences.
It's a sad thing, Michael, because it really proves the fact that he could do that and raise that kind of money really proves to me that this country is sick.
One of the best parts of it is it goes to account that doesn't exist. So for a president who's not elected in an election that was not fraudulent, in a time where all the lies being told are more powerful than the truth at this point, the one thing that's real is that money that he raised, but it went to an account that doesn't exist. That's my favorite part of the story. Like the whole Trump story.
Exists. The committee doesn't exist.
Well, that money exists. That went somewhere.
Yeah, the account exists. They opened up the account. It's probably nothing for them. They just call up. You and I got to go to the bank. We got to show ID. We got to sign this. I'm not a terrorist. We can't put more than 10 grand in without them calling the FBI. For old Donald, all he's got to do is pick up the phone and go, I need a new account. Here's the name.
Yeah, call my pal at Deutsche Bank.
We'll get him.
Call my pal at Deutsche Bank. Guten Morgen, mein Herr. We need a new account. Okay, a new account.
Boom, boom. We just give me the numbers.
Yeah.
All right. Put these numbers in. When you start getting checks, put it in this account. Who has control over the account? Who are the officers? I am.
Just me. Thank you. Maybe Jared. Maybe Donald Jr.
I'll hand it out to who I see fit. And guess what? Mark, get in here. We got $1 million for your
he
foundation.
$1 million. He's got $1 million. He can raise that in a day. replenish the money to my fund that I just gave away. I gave away $1 million. I need $1 million to make it right.
And when you're handing out money like that, Michael, people do things that you wouldn't believe.
They buy the prayer cloth, don't they?
They bring their wife in and give them to you for $1 million.
I had to do it. I thought about it. I thought about it all night. I had to do it. I took her in.
I'm sorry, honey. I mean, listen.
And yes, and that's something I meant to say.
I can get another one of you. I don't know when the hell I'm going to be able to get another $1 million.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, I can go to a bar and pick up. But what about the kids? I sold them for $500,000 apiece.
Kids are sold. They're paid for. We're sending them to a good home.
What is going to come of this? What is going to?
I think criminal charges.
What I know that, but are we gonna look at this to change the system? Well, here's the first question. Will these things cause anybody that you know that is a Trump person to change their mind?
I think they're considering it today because they know they can't run on this stuff forever, and they can't govern on it at all, and they can't satisfy their people that they have a head on their shoulders if they want to talk nonsense. If part of your reason to be the governor of Pennsylvania is because you want to set this record straight on the Dominion voting machines, you can't rule, you can't serve, you can't be elected, you can't be trusted, you can't be believed. That anything you might say on any Monday morning is worthy of the belief of the good people of Pennsylvania, or whatever state you want to govern, or whatever state you want to be the Secretary of State thereof. We have to be. We can't go around telling the big lie for much longer, because the cost that it's already cost to this nation of division. We're right on the edge of a civil war in terms of the mental positioning of the people who cannot be told that they're wrong.
So
and that's the entire Republican Party is mutilated itself.
So the clowns, like let's look at Pennsylvania for a second. The guys like Dr. Oz and the other knuckle dragon that's running for governor.
Biff Jiggerman.
Yeah,
I think that's Biff
Jiggerman. They are either going to have to turn around and disavow Trump.
I knew it all along.
Or they're destined to failure.
Double down. That's the Trump way.
Now, luckily, the two people that are running against those two probably have a pretty good chance. I mean, I think Fetterman will stomp Dr. Oz. A lot of people in Pennsylvania don't like Dr. Oz anyway.
He's never been to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because the last place he voted was in Turkey, and they don't take kindly to outsiders in Pennsylvania.
Oh dear.
So
remember, William Penn was an Englishman once, so be kind.
Yeah, so they'll. I think Dr. Oz will eventually, the combination of maybe people coming to their senses and losing faith in Trump, coupled with a guy who grew up in Braddock and lives in a ex-car dealer showroom.
I think that's so cool.
Where he left the Oldsmobile signs outside. So it's
no
still
self-respect.
Drive by, it still says Oldsmobile,
You never take down Oldsmobile signs. They're too beautiful. They're too beautiful. Leave them up. It's a remembrance of our history. It's part of the American pageantry. You don't take down Oldsmobile dealership signs. I standing ovation for that.
When he stands in front of his house, people actually drive up and ask if he can fix their car.
If I can get the parts, the answer is yes.
And you know what? Fetterman's the kind of guy who'll say, "Yeah, open up the hood. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
Let's see what I can do."
You know my parts manager, Biff the dog.
Yeah, my wife. She orders all the parts. Giselle, come in here a second. Take a look at this. So you have, you hopefully have, and Shapiro, Josh Shapiro, who is the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania, is now running for governor on a Democratic ticket, is a sharp guy. And even though the center part of the state doesn't like him all that much, the two ends of the state,
Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Pittsburgh and Philly, and that whole area will probably be enough to put him over and give him the governorship, especially against a nut job, who is, from everything you look at, from what this guy is saying, he says we're running on the big lie.
We're doubling down on the big lie. It's a funny thing. If this were Las Vegas, it would be like this. You go in, you have one set of cards, you lose, you double down, you lose, and you say you don't. You tell the dealer, I didn't lose, and I'm doubling down again. Well, you can't go on. We've taken your money, we've taken the cards. You're just sitting there with your drink. You don't get to play anymore at all. No. You don't understand, Mr. Dealer. I'm doubling down again because I did win. No, you lost 2 in a row, brother.
Yeah.
You've lost everything. You lost your stake. Now what are you going to do? It's time for you to get up. Give that seat to somebody who knows, or I can call security. And that's what happened today. They called Bill Barr security. What happened, Bill? It's bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. Here's all you need to know. And I told you once, I'll tell you again. It's all bullshit. Ask Steve Bannon. Flood the zone with shit is what he always said.
Yep. If you lie to them enough, they'll believe you.
Add violence and add a little rhetoric, and you got a perfect rally.
If you lie to somebody enough, they will eventually believe you. It's called brainwashing, really. I mean, when it is down to it. And it is interesting to me, Michael, that as this progresses, Trump's defense that he puts out on the thing that, what is it, 6 people are listening to it?
Well, on a good day, there's 6 people there.
Truth Social, is it? Where actually you can now see messages from Trump, which are as laughable as ever. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the ones that have been out. I've been thinking of joining Truth Social just to harass him. I bet you he misses me.
Of course he misses you. He misses you dearly. He thinks he'll turn you around this time. I'll get that kid from New York. I'll get Vinnie from Queens.
Yeah, I get Vinnie from Queens.
In fact, I got him. He just sent me $100. You just lie about it.
But Vinnie, you got a better chance of me showing up there looking like a 20-year-old woman in a tight skirt than you do of me sending you $100.
The video presentations that we've seen last Thursday and today, and that are coming in this week and next week, are all that any Democratic candidate needs to say. The candidate I'm running against is part of the lying scheme. They know they're lying. The people that they're lying for know they're lying. The people at the top started the lie. It's all a lie. You can't elect a government based on mistruths and untruth and half-truth and willing and knowingly false statements. That's not what a government is about. Here's the statements that have been made by the president, and here how they've been endorsed by this candidate for governor. A vote for him is a vote for Trump. It's an endorsement of the lie, and it's a continuation of the lie. Don't let them lie to you. They've taken your money, they've taken the truth, they've taken your spirit, they've taken your future, they've taken your belief in politics, and they've trashed it. And you went along with it, but I'm sorry, America, you were ripe for it. There was no country riper than you, ripe for the taking.
See, I disagree with you, Michael. I think that if you, listen, we have elected governments in this country since 1776 or 1789, really, on the basis of a lie. All men are created equal.
That's a lie.
It's a lie. It's not true. Up until 1865, all men were not created equal. And even after 1865,
right?
They aren't equal today.
Right.
So when you have a government that, sounds good on paper, but still, now, if you want to say all men have an opportunity, maybe I can buy that.
Or say that the truths that we're talking about are so obviously true, they are self-evident. Well, now the truth is no longer self-evident.
Right.
The lie is more self-evident in its lying capacity to convince people than is the truth. The truth is too simple. The lie is complicated and convoluted, and there's a dark side to it, and there's a reason that it happened this way. And they are trying to do this to you, and they have a power to do this, and they changed your vote, and they took your pride out of your country, and they run the government, and they run the secret government and the secret finances,
Right.
and they run Hollywood, and they eat babies.
The Constitution should say, well, whatever you'll believe.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
If you believe it, it's powerful
we
stuff.
like it to be like this, but the reality is it's really like this.
Yeah,
and listen, all I'm saying is that the whole thing that we have, the whole democracy that we have, are based on things that are not particularly true. Some of them are. Some of them, but the basic tenet of this country is all men are created equal. And it really isn't that way. And that's okay, really, in certain ways. But in most ways, don't lie to us. It should say, now, if you work hard and you're white and you're accepted at the country club, then all men are created equal.
Things might go well.
Yeah. If you're born on the Lower East Side and you're working at Con Edison and you don't make $50,000 a year, you're not so equal, and we're not going to help you. If you're black and you get arrested, well, you're not equal. If you're poor and you're white and you get arrested, you're not equal.
What if you're Donald Trump and you have a lot of other people's money? Does that make you super equal?
You're better than equal.
You're untouchable.
As Dennison's the men's clothier says, money talks and bullshit walks.
2 pair of pants. That's all I'm asking.
2 pair of pants with a suit. That's the thing, is we've created a system where all men are not equal. Now, all dollar bills are equal.
If you come with your dollars, you're in the club.
All 10s are equal. All 20s are equal. All 50s are equal. If you have enough of them,
they add right up.
You can buy equal. If you have enough of them, or you make people believe you have enough of them, you can be Donnie from Queens.
Yep, and you can be a developer
and get elected the president of the United States.
By promising to make America great again. The fact is that the only thing great about his entire effort, the greatest element of his effort, was lying to people, lying to the people who supported him. They flowed off his imagination on a daily basis, whatever you needed to know. That's why you couldn't honor the virus. You couldn't treat it. You couldn't react to it. You couldn't do it professionally. You couldn't do it as a nation, because that means something was stronger than Donald Trump, and nothing was as strong as Donald Trump. The image of Donald Trump was impenetrable.
Well, if you're Adolf Hitler, you can't have anything stronger than you. If you're Mussolini, if you're
Vladimir Putin,
if you're the nut job in North Korea, if you are Castro, if you are Chavez, who ruled Venezuela with an iron hand.
He doesn't feel so good today.
He's not so good today. Well, neither is Castro. If you are those people, you can't afford to have anything stronger than you. Not an idea, not the church,
not even the concept. Yeah, no.
Not Che Guevara.
Not Che Guevara, especially because he's all those T-shirts. He didn't make a dime.
He didn't make any money on all those T-shirts since 1967. They were all over the village. But you can't have anything, no matter how friendly it is. Michael Corleone will tell you that you can't have a brother that's stronger than you.
It would be nice, but nope.
Can't have that. If you want to rule, if you want everything to go your way, you have to have absolute power.
So, Tom, are you going to come along with me on the things I have to do? I have to do these things. You
Hey,
coming?
Fredo, go get me a fish.
Yeah.
Won't see Fredo anymore.
But he went out in the boat. Yes, he did.
Yeah, did he come back? Yeah.
Nah, not so much.
He was going to get the fish. It looks like the fish might have got him.
It's always a chance of that happening. That's the business we'd chosen. That's the business we'd chosen.
I didn't ask questions.
I didn't
I
ask who
didn't
did
ask why, because this,
it.
I told myself, is the business we have chosen. Hyman Roth, 1958.
It was always Hyman Roth. It was Hyman Roth. It was always Hyman Roth.
Oh man, Mikey. So again, I'll go with the question. So out of all of this that we're seeing on TV, out of all of this that the talking heads are talking to each other about, out of all of this, what would you like to, at the end of this hearing and this investigation, what would you like to see happen? What would be the result that would make you happy?
There'll be no peace from Maine to California until Donald Trump is dealt with. We opened up a can of worms when we elected him. We tried to go into a place where this nation should have never gone when we followed him. We fell for the big lie when we believed him. Now we have to judge him for the crimes that he has committed against this nation and that he willingly perpetrated on the people who believe in him. He lied to the people around him. He lied to his family. He's part of a criminal conspiracy that did this, that proffered this lie, that backed the people who were going to operate the meanest, dirtiest part of the insurrection, the lawyers who lied on his behalf, the people who backed him who lied on his behalf, the run out of what it's done to this nation, how it's crippled the thought of this nation, how Fox News helped him, how other people paid tribute to him and helped him in his lies, knowingly false operation. Remember that, from the top down. They knew what they were doing. They knew it was false and it was a criminal operation, and they did it anyway. In fact, that's why they did it. So there's your crime, and there's the criminals, and there's a bunch of them that start at the middle and radiate out. Instead of working our way up, let's start with Trump and work our way down. You don't have to go too many levels down. Rudy Giuliani, you've asked for it, you're going to get it. Sidney Cooper, or whatever her name is, she asked for it, she's going to get it. And Steve Bannon, who thinks that he can thumb his nose at the entire operation and do so with impunity, he'll get some too. The fact is, it was a knowingly false operation, and that's a crime.
Okay, what about the concept? And the reason I think about this is because I've heard it brought up a number of times, and I also, I think I was telling you, I got several friends who will fight for Donald Trump to the death. I mean, they will get on different social media stuff, and they will just stand up for him and say he was the best president and this and that and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah.
What about the concept that if you do this, if you put Donald Trump in jail, along with his son would be a beautiful thing, but if you put him in jail, you cause a further split in the country and run the risk of emboldening groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, maybe even the Promise Keepers, who knows?
Well, you saw the group in Wyoming this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah,
35 armed men riding in a rental truck.
Idaho, I mean.
It was Idaho.
It was Idaho, yes. The U-Haul truck.
The U-Haul, it's the U-Haul Promise Keepers.
Yes, the U-Haul truck full of, I mean, here we go. You got all these people screaming about all these Mexicans coming to the country in the back of trucks packed in. And what are they? They're all in the back of trucks packed in.
And where are they going? They're going to the gay parade.
They're going to the gay parade.
They were going to set things straight. Well, they didn't quite get there. Can you imagine opening the door and the first guy says, geez, you can't breathe in here. Oh, and that's my promise to you, and I'm keeping it. Okay.
And you know that those guys eat all sorts of strange stuff.
Oh dear.
So you know what that truck had to smell like when they opened that. I mean, have you ever spent some time in the back of a U-Haul truck? I have. I'll tell you.
I've loaded a few.
And I was in there with one other person. You're in there with
It gets
with
gamey.
20 guys that are sweating and farting. That's not a that's the gas chamber, baby.
And they all were so polite and kneeling in the grass to accept their handcuffs and their charges.
Yeah,
Kneeling at attention.
Yeah, they're today they're heroes. They're martyrs. But if you put Trump in jail, do you run the risk of setting that kind of thing off across the country? And is it worth it?
Well, I wonder, didn't they think that when they put Al Capone in jail? Didn't they give that some consideration that there'd be an organized crime war across the nation?
Yeah, well, I think there was in certain ways. I mean, you had, gangs who were now shifting and fighting for the territory that Capone, left open, because I don't know that Alphonse was running things from jail, like when Lucky Luciano was deported. He was just running things from Italy. His people were loyal to him. The Chicago people,
not so much,
seem to be quite different.
Opportunists.
The Giddies of the world, and those people seemed ready to divvy things up pretty quickly after Alphonse was shuffled off to jail. I don't think he went Alcatraz first, right? I think he went somewhere else first, and then Alcatraz.
The Italian gangs met with the Irish gangs and said, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do? We want to continue. You take the take, we'll take some take, and then we'll talk about the rest. And anything that we disagree on, we'll fight like the old times." Okay,
right.
What do you think?
And as they walked out to the car, the Italians shot the Irish guys.
Didn't want to, had to. It wasn't personal.
Yeah. So
it was business.
Is that? So how do you dance around that? How do you get those people, if you can, to not stand down, but to not take action? Because I think you do have a large amount of people in this country that are armed to the teeth and are ready to create terrorism, acts of violence against anybody who's around, because Trump's going to go to jail.
What I want to see is a change in the Senate. I want those senators who are playing the game of I live the lie along with Donald Trump to have no lie to live any longer. They're going to have to come to grips with reality. I hope it costs them their job. I hope it costs them their future. But to wear a nice suit and to stand in the Senate and to lie with Donald Trump is no longer an option, because we've proved that he knowingly created this lie. He started it from scratch. He made you believe it too. Not because it was real, but because you had to believe it to be part of the gang, to be part of our gang. You wanted admittance to the treehouse? Well, you had to convince Alfalfa you were a he-man. And that means you had to go along with the big lie. And here's the deal. The senators now have no Alfalfa to emulate. Their man is turning into the straw boss. And they've got to figure out what their future is going to be like. You think Mitch McConnell wants to be a senator for 20 more years? You're damn right he does. He's got a plan. And if it includes having to dump Donald Trump, like that.
Well, there's a guy who it just rolls off it, isn't it?
Yep.
It's amazing to me how much rolls off of Mitch McConnell.
And he's not the most likely guy to pull his, feet away from the fire.
Yeah.
No matter what he says, no matter how he cages his opinions, no matter where he sits on an issue, he never really endorses anything except the word no. Among his guys, when he wants it to be no, he makes it very plain. But you don't know what yes sounds like out of Mitch McConnell. You don't know what an endorsement sounds like. He never really gets to the crux of the matter. He watches the room, and he knows how many votes he's got. And if the votes aren't there in the room, he's a weasel.
He's a weasel. I mean, he is one of the bigger weasels that you would find.
And do you think he's watching these proceedings? Oh, yes.
I think everybody in Washington. I mean, it's political theater of the highest degree. This is what was it? 20 million watched.
Yes.
On Thursday night. I don't know
Correct.
if those numbers will be the same today, because some people actually have to work.
That doesn't make any sense. Say that again.
Some people have to work.
Huh. I'm just not familiar with that concept. I've been in radio for
But they
so
can
long.
listen. I'm sure that all of the hot talk stations are carrying every word of his testimony. I'm
No.
sure if I go down and dial to the hot talk stations, the Truth, 770, or KVI down there at all the way down there.
The lie and the bigger
Sure
lie.
that those stations are practicing, letting their listeners know exactly what's going on.
What I want from them is traffic every 5 minutes. Can KVI do that?
I think they can do anything they want to do, Michael. The KVI, they're the Truth, both owned by different companies, but still. Now, I'll tell you what, if you turned on Como TV, you won't hear anything about, because that's a Sinclair station.
Well, when they talk about the Truth is the name of the radio station, what kind of truth are they talking about? The real truth? Or is that other truth?
Really, nobody knows.
It's the other truth, isn't it?
It's the truth as we construct it.
So it's any truth.
It's the truth as we construct it.
And here's your bumper sticker. How you doing? How you doing over there?
All right. Listen to the KTTH, the truth as we construct it.
As constructed by yours truly.
Well, they got Michael Medved. What could go wrong?
Oh, a lot. But you won't hear about it past Mercer Island, so that's fine.
Well, the funny thing is, Medved is a guy. I mean, I know Michael Medved. I worked in the same building with him for a long time. Who, at one point I thought was like kind of radical. Now he's on the liberal part of the Republican Party. I mean, he actually says things that sometimes make sense.
He can't stay apace of the new Republican.
Yeah, now I haven't listened to his show in a while, but it would shock me if he bought into. See, I would really, I'm going to have to listen to him, because it would shock me if he bought into the election lie. Because, see, he's an intelligent guy.
No, he's got to do it. He's got to buy into the lie.
He is. You can sit down and have a conversation with him, and he's not. He actually makes he can sell his argument. He can talk to you, we'll talk to you and say, well, this is why I believe this, and this is why I think this is that way, and this is why I think that's way. And one thing I always appreciated about him is that he wasn't he's not in that Marjorie Taylor Greene class.
I don't think there's much room for the mid-range Republican anymore.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Michael Medved might be considered a Democrat. The way things are.
Now that is shocking. I am shocked.
But again, I haven't listened to the show in a while because I've sworn off. I actually haven't listened to radio much, to be honest with you. I mean, I just find, there's just shows, even people that I'm friends with, I can't listen to.
That brings up nominations for the Radio Hall of Fame. I don't know if you saw any of the names. Dave Ross from Cairo is nominated.
Yeah, slam dunk.
Stephen Van Zandt from Sirius Radio. Miami Steve,
slam
nominated.
Dunk.
Charles Lacodaria from WBCN in Boston, the longtime morning show there. Chris Russo from Sirius XM, the Mad Dog. And Broadway Bill Lee can rhyme it, and make it rhyme forever. Broadway Bill Lee from KFRC and now WCBS in New York. I vote for him.
So you only get to vote for one out of that group?
Well, I just wrote these down of the ones that I recognized. I don't get to vote for any of them, but I support their nomination.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think you can make a case for almost anybody on that list. Certainly Dave Ross, the predominant personality in this market, I would say, for 20 years.
It must have seemed like a good idea when they said, you're going to be on the network every day. Every day, that's great. You mean every day? Yeah,
Yeah,
every
but
day.
he cranks something out every day, and he's
He
a
cranks it
gifted
out.
wordsmith. He sounds intelligent. Um, yeah, I would have no problem with him going. Steven, yeah, I mean,
He hasn't been around that long as a DJ.
and he's not. He constructs the station. I mean, he does a show every once in a while. But it's like Bruce. Do you put Bruce in the Radio Hall of Fame because he does, he does a really compelling show? When he, the 25 times he decided to do a show during the pandemic, does that put him in the Hall of Fame? When you get guys like that, I always go, if he was not Steven Van Zandt,
You would not be doing this.
would you put him in the Radio Hall of Fame? If he was Vinnie Riccici just putting that music together?
Probably not.
Probably not. Now, because of his activity with Teach Rock and everything like that, I mean, that puts a little extra spice on it. But again, it's tough for me. Should he be in the Television Hall of Fame because he was on The Sopranos?
Lilyhammer.
And Lilyhammer, yeah, it was a great part, but he's kind of, he's kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to acting.
He does seem to play the same role. His same guy going in different situations. You didn't think he'd survive in Lilyhammer, but he did.
Yeah, and Lilyhammer is a good series. I mean, I like it, but is he doing something that takes that takes actual acting?
Well, every show in Lilyhammer is like he goes to the dumbest guy that he's working with and says, "I got to go out of town. You're in charge."
Yeah,
and that starts a terrible event that cascades into another terrible event. And when Stevie comes back, his nightclub is always in tatters and his life is in danger.
There's always.
And so at the end of the show, he says, "Okay, I got to go out of town. I'm putting you guys in charge again because after all, last time this happened, my nightclub was ruined and my life was in danger.
Now I got to leave again.
Now I got to leave. So you're in charge. You two idiot brothers."
Oh man, that's it's a great show, but yeah, it is. It's for Steven anyway. So I don't know. I don't know if I put Steven in the Radio Hall of Fame. I would put I don't know, who would I put before him?
Al Jasbo Collins.
He's not in?
I don't know.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, I would think that he's in. See, I think to do that kind of thing, to be nominated for the Radio Hall of Fame, you have to have longevity of career, and you have to be above. You have to be somebody who is a dominant personality in a market for a period of time.
Yeah.
For 10 years, 10 years probably minimum.
And that's the hard part, being a dominant personality for a period of time in a city without having to move. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, and you were on a legendary station.
Yep.
You
can't be on a teapot that no one can hear.
Right. I mean, I would vote. I don't know, who would I vote for? I can't think of the guy's name, but you could make a pretty good case for Johnny Otis.
There you go, the late Johnny Otis.
Yeah, because he was on KPFA for how many years?
And KGFJ.
And did a great show, exposed blues and R&B music to people who may have never heard it before. There's a guy who you could point to and say, yeah, he should be in the Radio Hall of Fame. Bonnie Simmons.
There you go. She must be.
Yeah, I would think she would be, but Bonnie Simmons would be somebody I would say belongs in the Radio Hall of Fame. She was a dominant personality, both on radio and in music, and she she did a lot. People knew who she was.
Another nominee that I didn't put on my list is Susie Waldman of the New York Yankees. She's on the list
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, without a doubt, she should be, because obviously, I mean, the first woman to do play-by-play for a major sport. I think she was the first to do anything in a major sport.
By the way, in a breakthrough in broadcasting, the Los Angeles Angels have decided that they're not going to do play-by-play. They're just going to do some plays sometime, because they don't have a lot of they don't have enough action there on that team to do a 9-inning broadcast. It's like, you want to know what the Mets are doing? Because right now the Angels aren't doing anything. So we'll do the Mets side of this. The Angels aren't participating in this game until the 7th inning, when they're going to get a hit, but the guy's going to die at second, and that's the whole game for you, folks. That's not enough for broadcasting for an afternoon. So here's a look at the Mets.
So what are they going to do? Are they just going to show the
Did you see the stadium yesterday? You might have ducked in because the Mets were playing on television.
Yeah.
And it was like a spring training game. There was nobody in the left field, the first base seats in the outfield. There was nobody in the bleachers, nobody in the upper deck.
Baseball has a problem, Michael.
If you stink, you got a problem.
But I think even teams that don't stink have a problem. Now, I don't know if it's pandemic caused or what, and I haven't researched it, so I can't say for sure. But I'm thinking, if you went back to 2019 numbers and then looked at 2022 numbers, which are probably the last two comparable seasons, you're going to see a decline, a less of an interest in the game, because it has become, I don't want to say boring, because it's not boring, but there's been such an overrun of stats in the game. There's such a bunch of, there's no more, I don't know, there's something that's missing from the game right now.
Romance.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think that's exactly it. I don't know that there's I remember doing the post-game show, and you get on and you'd start talking about great things that happened in the past and this guy and how it compared. Well, you're at a point now where it's hard to compare eras, because this era has instant replay. This era is going to have a pitch clock. This era has the strike zone thing. This era has fans who are more interested in the exit velocity of a ball than they are what the pitcher's thrown, whether he threw a strike, how do you throw a curveball, whether it's a mean slider. You don't have, there's a certain romance missing from the game right now.
Well, you have a pretty good team. If you don't know, if this is your first time watching, New York, Vinnie is a Mets fan. I'm a Giants fan. Giants started the weekend 6.5 games out. Now they're 3.5. Winning 3 in a row from the Dodgers is not easy, even at home.
Yeah.
And that's what they pulled off. So I salute them, and I salute the Warriors, who managed to tie up their series of 2-2, and their 5th game number 5 is tonight in San Francisco. So all Warriors all the time over Boston, I'm predicting. By the way, the Giants continue their winning streak on the road against against the White Sox. The Pale Hose. Chicago.
Remember when I used to call the Pale Hose?
No one knew what the hell.
And the guy called up. He said, "Who the hell are the Palos?"
The Palos. The Palos. I don't know. What happened to Chicago's White Sox? Yeah, they're the Pale Hose.
Pale Hose. It's a long time nickname.
What the hell is a hose?
Oh my God, the Palos.
Who are the Pelos? Where did they come from? How long have they been in the league? I never heard of such a thing.
Never heard of them. What, somebody changed their name? Oh my God.
I'm trying to The Guardians are Cleveland baseball. The Munchkins are Washington football. What's Washington football now? The Commanders?
Commanders, aren't they?
Commanders and the Guardians. I don't know.
They should have.
When it becomes important to me, I'll remember which one is which.
Well, they should make the Nationals the Masters, so then they could be the Masters and the Commanders. Have Mel Gibson, was that his movie? Mel Gibson.
That could be the Gibsons.
Commanders.
We call ourselves the Mel Gibsons. Stand aside.
Oh man. The Palos. Who are the Palos?
Who the hell are those Palos? And what happened to that other team in Chicago? And don't call them, you know what I mean. Just call them Chicago White Sox.
That team.
And half the guys on the White Sox don't wear white socks. So that must confuse some people. They just wear their pants down to their ankles.
You know, that's something that the commissioner of baseball, if it had one, should step in and do something about. I mean,
where's your damn white
get
socks?
These guys wearing stirrups again, please.
Yes, I would love that.
Bring stirrups back. You know, I may start just wearing them around the house. You know, put a pair of shorts on, put a pair of stirrups on,
and go shopping.
And go shopping.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
Think I get some looks at the mall?
Have a home.
That guy in shorts. I'm going to get some looks at the mall anyway.
Have a home and away, too.
Oh yeah. Well, I like the new socks that you see now with the imprints on them. The pattern
Cityscape.
Who was it the other day? Somebody on the Mets was wearing these nice blue socks with the orange NY, and I said, those look cool.
It does. And there's a variety of them, so you can have NY on one leg and Statue of Liberty on the other, and go play ball.
Well, I like. I have a couple of pairs of knickers, Michael. So I think those socks with a pair of knickers would look stunning.
Also, they work with a kilt, if that ever comes to mind.
Well, there used to be a place here where you could get a kilt.
There always used to be a place where you could get a kilt. Now, not so much.
There's a place up on it used to be right there on 15th Avenue, and you can go up there and you can get yourself. They sell kilts.
I don't know what pattern I should be wearing. I might affiliate myself with the wrong crime family there in the Scottish Highlands and be stopped in the street.
See, that's why I'll just go for a regular straight.
You, sir, you're a McGillicuddy. Stand and deliver.
I will go for solid pattern. I don't want to be.
You don't want to be trapped by the McGillicuddy family.
I don't want to be trapped by the wrong people with a dress on. I mean, call it what you want. There's still a dress.
Yeah, that's right. And you're eating a dead pig or sheep or whatever it is.
What is it? Mutton?
It's haggis. I don't know. It's been
haggis.
dead long.
Oh no, it's been dead. Sheep innards, isn't it?
It's been dead. It's been wrapped in something that's also dead. I don't want any more.
I'll
go to White Castle.
Scotland right now. I should ask him to bring me back a pound of haggis.
Do the haggis on your own time. I'll be at White Castle. I'll meet you after for
after
hours.
Probably haggis. White Castle hamburgers. Who knows? No, the sign says 100% beef, and people never lie.
It's 100%. So that's all I need to know. Never mind. I don't have any other questions. Let it go at that.
Just let it go at 100%. You know why White Castles are White Castles, don't you?
I don't know why.
Because in 1921, when they opened White Castles, the American people had a fear, a problem, a phobia against these against beef.
It wasn't clean.
Against how sanitary it was. The popular belief was if you ate beef, you could get sick.
Really sick.
Really sick. Like you come down with all sorts of possessions and all sorts of things. Throwing up and moving around the bed.
No telling who you might vote for in a situation like that.
Yeah. So the Kellys, who owned who started the White Castle thing, I believe they were the Kellys, said that the only way that we can pull this off selling hamburgers here is we have to convey an atmosphere of a sterile, clean place. So what is the cleanest thing we can come up with? Well, at the time, porcelain was the wonder material. You know, you couldn't
Very,
get
very popular.
germs will not stick to porcelain. So that's why they built the castles out of porcelain and the counters and the grills and everything around them out of stainless steel.
Let's go clean and let's keep it clean.
So that it was easy to clean, it looked clean, and it presented an image of cleanliness. That's why everybody had to wear the hat, so that, you know, the hair wouldn't fall into the hamburgers.
I like that idea. I like a nice hamburger without hair in it.
Yeah, me too. But that was the reason why they went with the white, because it meant purity.
I'm gonna have to go down to the freezer at Pavilions and get the frozen White Castles now. I know I'm gonna have to do this. I went in there yesterday. I didn't get a box. I looked at them, didn't buy them. I have in the past. Now I must do it again in support of cleanliness. That's why I'm doing it.
You have to get the pickles.
I have pickles here. I have the right kind of pickles here.
You got to get the pickles. You got to get the ketchup and put it on. You know, I saw somebody putting mustard on a White Castle hamburger one day. You know, they bought them like from the freezer, and then they, what the hell are you doing?
I like mustard.
Not on a White Castle. I think it detracts from the taste.
Okay, I'm gonna try it with mustard. Yes,
I will tell you what you could do. I have had them, and they are great. They're jalapeno sliders.
Okay.
If you like a little tangy, you like tangy.
I like tang.
If you like tang, try the jalapeno sliders if they have them.
Vinny, the country made it through another set of testimony. I think we're calming down as a result of it. I really do. And I'll see you on Wednesday for a wacky Wednesday. And this was a morose Monday because of the subject matter, but the sun's out. It's going to be 80 degrees in LA. And I wish you a fabulous American day.
Mikey, I wish you the same. When do the hearings resume? Tomorrow?
I should know that, but I don't know.
I should know.
7 a.m.
But for some reason, I don't. Well, we will rejoin everybody Wednesday, hopefully with a show that doesn't revolve around the hearings. But as long as the hearings are going,
we're going to.
We're going to do, because I think people are really interested in what's going on there.
We go where the action is, as always, like right here.
This is action like you've never seen before. All right, Mikey. See you Wednesday after Lawsville and the Creek don't rise. Until then, please, folks, treat each other kindly, and remember, peace, love, and of course, Manischewitz.
What a wine. And that's the truth.
It really is. It's good stuff. I'm going to go drink some now. Bye-bye.